What is up, guys? Kenpachi here. First things first, hope you guys are having a great start to the new year. I hope you guys had a happy holidays if that's something that you choose to celebrate. But I've been getting some comments in my videos asking me about my gear, my build, enchants, talents, all that good stuff, as well as some general tips on climbing in the solo queue ladder. So I thought I would make a, hopefully quick video, just a general rundown on my character, and hopefully some tips and tricks that you guys can use that'll help you on your climb in solo shuffle. One thing really quickly, I want to reiterate that this is only my first season of playing Demon Hunter, so take everything that I say with a grain of salt. Some things are just how I understand them. Definitely check with higher rated Demon Hunters, more experienced Demon Hunters. They definitely might have a different outlook on how the class should be played, and things like different enchants, playstyle, stuff like that. So this is just from my understanding of the class. I've only been playing it for about a month. How long's Dragonflight been out? Maybe like a little over a month now. So, yep. This is just a very, very beginner Demon Hunter's point of view and a guide from a beginner Demon Hunter. Just thought I'd mention that really quick in case I give out any information that might not be 100% accurate. So with that being said, let's get right into it. It also makes you a little bit tanky. What's going on here? Alrighty then. Primary stats, sorry about that. Primary stats, versatility, mastery. Versatility gives you more damage, more healing, decreases damage taken. Super, super good for PvP. And then mastery. This one is the juicer right here. This one increases your chaos damage and your movement speed by a set percentage. And why this is so big is because in your talents, you spec into any means necessary, which pretty much makes all of your damage schools chaos damage, and it also increases that damage by an additional 29.4%. So those two together create some incredible damage. So yep, necklace, we got the versatility, mastery as I stated before, and of course we got the triple gems on it with mastery, versatility. Now I've seen some people opt for the purely mastery gems. I think it gives like 88 or something mastery each. I'm going for the overall stat number. So 70 plus 33 equates to more than just purely mastery, so that's what I chose to opt for. Lost my train of thought, my apologies. Alright, so we got the crafted helmet. It does scale up an item level to 424, so it's equal to the conquest gear. It also gives an extra 1% bonus damage. We absolutely take those. We got the necklace, the versatility, mastery, triple gems, slap that on, juicy. Now the shoulders, we got the versatility crit ones. Not ideal. Ideally, like I said before, you want the versatility, you want the mastery. But these came to me in my Great Vault, and there was nothing else that was better, so I took them. Cape, versatility, mastery. And I opted for the regenerative leech enchantment. This gives you a little bit of extra leech, as well as pretty much irrelevant self-healing when you're outside of combat. But me personally, I feel like leech is much better than movement speed, just because Demon Hunter, you already have so much mobility. Now I have seen some top Demon Hunters opt for speed, so maybe I'm doing something wrong here, but this is just my personal preference. Now for the chest, we actually have the world PvP set. Now my dumbass thought that the set bonus also applied in arenas and battlegrounds, which I am now realizing that it does not. The benefit to having this, though, is that some of the honor pieces don't give you the option to have versatility mastery. So for those pieces that you can't get mastery, you're going to want to look into the world PvP set. And as an added bonus, if you've been keeping up with your world PvP gear and you've been doing your weekly quest that gives you the trophies of strife, you can actually upgrade your world PvP gears to increase their item level to 421, which is just 3 item levels behind the conquest gear. So you could actually be gearing up almost twice as fast as just purely gearing up off of honor and conquest. If you're getting your bloody tokens, you should be pretty juiced right now. So for my chest, we got the Verse Mastery, World PvP set, and we chose Waking Stats as the enchant. The shirt and the tabard don't really matter. The bracers, the wrist, again, we have Versatility Mastery, Opted for the 200 leech, as I said before. I think leech is pretty damn good on demon hunters. Great for sustain, great for survivability. That's my pick. Gloves, once again, we got the world PvP set. Versatility mastery, nothing special there. Belt, versatility mastery, world PvP set. And I actually got pretty lucky this week from the Great Vault, and I managed to get a set bonus, the tier set bonus. Now the stats, not ideal. We got crit haste, but you know, what can you do? You can't always get the perfect stats. So I'm going to be using these for now. Hopefully next week I can get another piece of tier gear for the juicy 2-set bonus. Oh yeah, and of course you got to slap on that fierce armor kit. It's just extra stats that you definitely do not want to miss out on. Now for my boots, I have the crafted boots. These are absolutely huge. Crit verse, like I said, you want mastery, but these don't come with mastery, so you're gonna have to settle for crit. These are huge because they stack on top of your trinket bonuses. So you get 5% additional reduced duration for crowd control effects. And you know, much like the 1% added damage, extra 5% CC reduction, we absolutely take those. Now for the enchant, I got Watcher's Loam. This gives you a little bit of extra stamina. Honestly, could go for the movement speed. The movement speed might actually be more helpful than just this minor amount of stamina. But like I said before, I don't really feel like I'm lagging behind too much in my games to where I need the movement speed. Maybe in the future, if I feel like I'm lagging behind a bit, I might switch to movement speed. Or maybe if a higher ranked DK explains it to me in a way that makes sense, then I will switch. But for now, we're sticking with the stamina. Now for the ring, we got the versatility mastery. Of course, we're back to our bread and butter stats. And we slapped on the 82 mastery enchantment on it. This is the honor ring, versatility mastery, 82 mastery enchant. And for the trinket, we have the on use trinket for removing movement impairing effects. Now, why do you want this instead of the proc one? Well, sometimes you get CC'd and you don't want to break it. This just gives you so much more control over what CCs you break. You can time it so much better to either secure a kill or keep yourself alive or maybe save a teammate. You definitely want this control in your hands. Up until yesterday, I actually used the on-use trinket for damage, but I was looking at the top demon hunters and most of them actually used the proc one. So I went ahead and swapped. I think that the proc one actually has a higher uptime than the on-use one, I would imagine, because I try to time my on-use one with either the hunt or an essence break combo. And sometimes when you're just training someone, this can definitely proc a lot more than the on-use. Now for my weapons, of course, we got the versatility mastery. Both of my weapons are the conquest ones. The enchantment, I was using Frozen Devotion before, but it has been brought to my attention that Earthen Writ is definitely the superior option. Now, while Frozen Devotion does pump out a little bit more consistent damage, when Earthen Writ procs, especially if you have it on both weapons, this double proc is absolutely insane for your damage. What the hell is going on here? Alright, sorry about that, but that's pretty much all for the gear. We went over the primary stats, we went over some craftable pieces, we went over what to look for in your Great Vault. Definitely prioritize your tier set at the moment. I also didn't know this, but your tier set only increases an item level for arenas and battlegrounds if you get it from the Great Vault in your PvP section. Now, I actually knocked out some raids earlier, and I got another tier set piece, which I thought was huge. Little did I know, it doesn't upgrade the item level in PvP. So, I guess I'll be waiting till next week to hopefully get my 2-set bonus. Alright, now moving on to the talents that I'm rocking with. This is actually my default solo shuffle build. It's a pretty standard build, but if you guys haven't seen any other guide, I'll try to do a quick rundown on just the talents and why I chose them. Blazing Path, Fell Rush gains an additional charge. You need this. No questions asked. 2 charges, take it. Imprison, this is probably your most reliable form of CC besides your stuns. Throw this on a healer. Throw this on anything that's not a kill target. Amazing CC. I need to learn to use it more, honestly. Now going down, Bouncing Glaives. This is huge because the bulk of your damage from this build actually comes from Soul Rend. Now Soul Rend is a dot. It is a bleed effect from your glaives. When it hits a target, it'll leave a Soul Rend on them, and this actually does massive damage. So going right down, Improve Disrupt, a little bit of extra range. Now you don't need Disrupting Fury. Why? because you usually interrupt to stop the cast rather than to use it for Fury generation. So you're not going to be spamming your interrupt off cooldown as a Fury generator. You're going to be using it for like key spells that you absolutely have to interrupt. Now on the other hand, Consume Magic. This is your Dispel. This is your Purge. 10-second cooldown. And it also makes it to where it becomes a Fury generator. 20 Fury. This is huge. Take it. Now Swallowed Anger. This makes your Purge generate additional 20 Fury. Fellblade, absolutely huge. Gap Closer, as well as Fury Generator. Take it. Pursuit, Mastery increases your movement speed. Why not? We need to go down this tree, so we take that. Master of the Glaive. Glaive now has 2 charges, and it snares your target, which makes it great for crowd control, for the slowing, as well as giving you an extra charge. Like I said before, Soul Rend is absolutely huge, so having a second charge of this is going to be massive. Chaos Nova, your AoE stun, absolutely huge, must-have skill. If you've seen any of my videos before, I always try to line up some juicy 2 or 3 man stuns whenever possible. This will force some trinkets out. This will give you huge pressure. Absolutely take it. Unleash Power. This reduces the Fury cost of your Chaos Nova as well as its cooldown. Like I said before, this skill is huge. You're going to want to take that too. Now, Illidari Knowledge reduces magic damage taken. This is good for caster cleaves. There are a lot of caster cleaves out there. Shadow Priests are super strong at the moment. Demo Locks are super strong. Arcane Mages, Elemental Shamans, this is a must-have. Going down. Internal Struggle, this increases your mastery. Like I said before, one of your primary stats, you're going to want to take this. Cooldown of your Fell Rush is reduced. This is great because that's your mobility skill. Like I said before, I actually don't opt into movement speed and chance just because we have so much mobility with things like Fell Rush, with things like Vengeful Retreat. It's just a personal preference of mine. Now, Collective Anguish, this is massive. Extra damage, extra healing, super juicy. Go ahead and grab it. Now moving on to the other side, I opt for Sigil of Flame here. Why? This is a nice ranged Fury generator. Sometimes you're rooted, you have no Fury, you have nothing you can really use. Go ahead and throw down a Sigil of Flame, and you know what? It gives you just enough Fury for another Glaive Toss. And what does Glaive Toss do? It applies that juicy, juicy Soul Rend, keeps your damage pumping even when you're rooted. Now, Char Warblades, this heals you for 3% of fire damage. I believe this applies to chaos damage too. I googled it. It appears that chaos damage is some kind of fires included. I don't know. I'm new to this. Then we got Precise Sigils. This puts your sigils at the target's location instead of your own. That way you can do things like imprison the target and then drop the sigil Misery right under them. So when this expires, they're straight into a fear. Now, Misery and Defeat, this makes people that are hit by your Sigil of Misery, they actually take 20% more damage from you. Will the Illidari, this increases your HP by 3%. You could honestly take a point out of this, maybe slap it into a Unrestrained Fury if you want a little bit of extra Fury. If you find yourself capped a lot, I usually try to spend my Fury before I cap, so I think the extra tankiness is definitely worth it. Now, Rush of Chaos. It's definitely one of your bread and butter cooldowns. Honestly, in most of my games, I don't even make it to the second Metamorphosis cast. I usually get 1 meta in, so it's not that important, but you have to take it in order to work your way down the tree. So next, Soul Rending. This is absolutely massive. You get Leech, and you get an additional 10% Leech while in Metamorphosis. This adds to your survivability. This adds to your self-sustain. This will keep you alive for longer. Take it. Demonic. Now, this is massive because every time that you I-beam, you're going to enter your demon form, which then gives you that extra 10% leech, that extra damage. You're going to feel this. Must have. Absolutely take it. Darkness. This is one of your big defensives, not only for yourself, but also for your teammates. If you're getting pressured or if you see your teammate getting pressured, try to get to them. If they have no defensives of their own, if they're getting trained on, drop the Darkness. Hopefully they stay in it because, like I said before, this is a solo queue build, and solo queue is pretty uncoordinated, to say the least. Now, I actually opt for Long Night here because, like I said before, the extra 2-minute cooldown reduction, that's nice. It makes Darkness a 3-minute cooldown. Like I said before, Metamorphosis, also 3-minute cooldown. 95% of my games, I get to use this skill 1 time and 1 time only. Players generally do not survive long enough for a second go at your 3-minute cooldowns. So I opt for the extra 3 seconds of Darkness, and it actually pairs really well with the PvP talent Cover of Darkness, which not only increases the radius, but it also increases the duration by another 2 seconds. Now, the Hunt, This skill should speak for itself. This is probably your biggest PP damage cooldown, especially if you wait for your damage amps. You can absolutely annihilate someone. This thing's a chonker. Definitely take it. And this increases the damage over time effect of the hunt by another 30%. 30% extra damage to your biggest damage skill. It's a must-have. No-brainer. Go ahead and take it. Now for the Havoc points. You got your I-Beam. You got your Demon Blades. This will help you build Fury passively as you're auto-attacking. Now, it's pretty inconsistent, so it's hard to rely on this, but definitely better than the other option. Bellfire Heart increases your Immolation Aura. Sigil of Flame by 2 seconds. This is good because your Immolation Aura actually does a pretty big chunk of your damage overall. First Blood, this is great because it's just extra damage to one of your more consistent damaging abilities. Furious Throws, the glaive throw glaive now costs 25 extra Fury, but it throws a second glaive. Now, why is this good? Once again, you want anything that juices up your throw glaive, because paired with Soul Rend, it's actually amazing. Now, I actually did some testing. I thought, hey, what does the second glaive really do if it costs 25 Fury? Did some testing on a dummy. Turns out, second glaive, pretty important to your Soul Rend damage. Now, Dancing with Fate, this is just another juicer for your Blade Dance. Mortal Dance, this is fantastic. This is your Mortal Strike. It makes your Blade Dance a Mortal Strike. 50% reduced healing. Absolutely massive. It's a must-have. Go ahead and pick that up. 2 points into Critical Chaos. This makes it so your Chaos Strike refunds 20 Fury, and it is increased by 50% of your Critical Strike chance. This actually pairs really well with Know Your Enemy. Gain Critical Strike damage equal to 80% of your Critical Strike chance. Now, making our way down the left side of the tree. Initiative. If you damage an enemy before they damage you, you get increased Critical Strike chance. You see in the theme here, it's a nice little bonus, especially if you use Vengeful Retreat, which, by the way, Vengeful Retreat, later down the line, becomes a Fury generator. So you're definitely going to be using this skill a lot. Pairs very well with Initiative. Unbound Chaos, activating Immolation Aura increases the damage of your Fel Rush by 400%. Now, some guides tell you not to use Fel Rush for damage, and I'd say this is true like good chunk of the time. But sometimes in solo shuffle, when you see 3 enemies lined up and you have 2 charges of your Fel Rush, no other skills you can really use, I kind of just go ahead and try to line them up and use it for some extra damage. Especially with Unbound Chaos, this will actually do a decent chunk of your damage. And you can even secure some kills from it. Now, we already went over Tactical Retreat. This turns your Vengeful Retreat into a Fury generator. Now, this is actually really good because one of the things I do for this build is I opt out of Burning Hatred, which makes your Immolation Aura generate additional Fury, and instead I take this point and I throw it into Netherwalk. Now, Netherwalk has saved my life countless times in solo shuffle. Because solo shuffle is so chaotic and uncoordinated, you can oftentimes get away with this skill and they won't even know what happened. So, going down the tree, Momentum, anytime you use Fel Rush, the Hunt, Vengeful Retreat, it increases your damage by an additional 8%. This is just another modifier. You want to stack this with Fodder to the Flame, as well as your weapon prop, Earthen Writ. So, the big 3, Momentum, Demon Soul from Fodder, and then your weapon proc. When those 3 light up, it's go time. That is the best time to use the Hunt, without a doubt. If the other team doesn't have all their defensive spots, of course. And then, of course, you have your Essence Break, your bread and butter burst combo skill. This does upfront damage as well as makes your Chaos Strike and Blade Dance do additional damage for 4 seconds. Now, working our way down the right side of the tree. After our Blade Dance Juicer, we're going to go ahead and take Chaotic Transformation. So anytime that you transform, your I-Beam as well as Blade Dance cooldowns are immediately reset. This will help you do some extra burst damage whenever you transform, with your Metamorphosis, of course. So you can actually get off 2 Blade Dances, 2 I-Beams in a very short window. If you I-Beam first, use your Blade Dance, Metamorphosis, I-Beam again, Blade Dance. It's a pretty juicy combo. Now, of course, we're going to want to take Fell Eruption. This is our single target stun. Very important skill. Do not pass this up. Now, making our way down the right side, Trail of Ruins, just another damage amplification talent for our Blade Dance, which, like I said before, is one of our more consistent forms of damage. Growing Inferno, this makes your Immolation Aura damage increase 10% each time it deals damage. So if you pop your Immolation Aura and you kind of just stick on a target, the damage will ramp up very quickly. Burning Wound, this makes it so your Demon Blades and Throw Glaives deals an additional dot, as well as makes them take more damage from your Immolation Aura. Like I said before, that damage ramps up very quickly. Accelerating Blades, not the biggest thing in the world when you're doing like 3v3. Sometimes it can stack up a lot if you're going against like a Demo Lock or something and it bounces around a lot. But this talent is mostly just so you can have access to Fodder of the Flame. Now, Fodder of the Flame, this thing is huge. It gives you not only a juicy little heal, but it also gives you a Demon Soul, which increases your percent damage done. Definitely go ahead and pick this up. Now, like I said before, Soul Rend, this is the bread and butter of this entire build. These two talents right here, the bread and butter. Soul Rend, incredible pressure, great dot damage, easy to apply, as well as any means necessary. Super, super big damage boost from all the mastery that you're stacking. Wow, that took a lot longer than I was hoping to, but hopefully you guys are still with me. If you already knew about the talents, hopefully you just skipped to the end. Let's get right into PvP talents. So in Solo Shuffle, you're going to be going against so many different classes, so many different combinations. It is important to revise your PvP talents after every single round. For example, if I'm going against an Affliction Lock or a Shadow Priest, I want to take Reverse Magic, just in case we can't always kick the mind games or have an entire row of dots on us. We want to be able to flip the script. Super good against any rot comps, honestly. Now, Blood Moon. I like to take this if I'm going against classes that have a lot of magical effects, such as Resto Druids, maybe Priests, things of that nature. And it also gives you an extra 5% leech, which isn't crazy, but it's definitely helpful at times too. Now, if I'm going against melee cleaves, Cover of Darkness, like I said before, extra 4-yard range as well as 2-second duration. Super good for surviving melee cleaves, helping peel for your team. Glimpse, I take this anytime I'm going against a rogue. If you've seen any of my other videos, anytime I'm going against a rogue, I always try to use my Spectral Sight, and then when I see the rogue approaching, it's important to glimpse before you get sapped. I have caught so many rogues and gotten the opener on them, I'd say honestly like 9 out of 10 times. Maybe it's just the rating I'm at, they're not too patient. But this can definitely catch them off guard and ruin the entire opener for them, which puts you in a very good spot. Now, some other good options, Detainment for extra CC, and because solo queue is so chaotic to where they are immune to damage. That way you don't have to worry about your teammates breaking your CC. And then, of course, we have Chaotic Imprint. This just makes your Throw Glaive do a little bit more juicy damage. So that is all for the gearing and talents. That actually took a lot more time than I was hoping for, but let's get into some general tips and tricks as far as Solo Shuffle goes. Now, I think a big thing to note for Solo Shuffle is you have to take advantage of the chaos. You have to take advantage of the lack of coordination. Try to understand the strengths and weaknesses of each class. Try to have a rough understanding of who you can kill, who you can't kill, and always try to communicate with your team. I know it's hard. You're not going to be typing mid-game because you're already playing the round out. You got a million buttons to push, but before the round starts, if you don't know who you want to target, maybe ask them, hey, who'd you guys like to go on? Me, I generally have a good understanding of who I would like the kill target to be, as well as their defensive cooldowns. That way, for example, if I want to kill a Pally, I let my team know, hey, let's kill Pally, let's swap to this other person when the Pally bubbles, for example, if we don't have a Dispel for his bubble. So alright, we'll open Pally, he bubbles, let's hard swap to this person, and as soon as that bubble goes down, let's get right back on that Pally. This gives your teammate things to look out for, and they know exactly what your thought process is going into the game. Now, another thing, I actually had a game where I wanted to go on a Shadow Priest. I wanted to train the Shadow Priest, and I wanted to cleave the Warrior. And one of my teammates was like, hey, Shadow Priests are basically tanks. I said, you know what? You're right. Let's go on the Warrior. Let's kill the Warrior. And that's exactly what we did. So make sure you're communicating with your team in solo queue. Make sure you are changing your talents to fit the team comp that you're playing against. And definitely do not blame your teammates. If you find yourself falling behind, yes, you're going to get some bad teammates, but you're also going to get some good teammates. And also, 9 times out of 10, if you're blaming a teammate, there's definitely something that you could have done better as well. All right, I've also been getting some questions on my Weakauras, so let's just go ahead and knock that out, as well as some other add-ons that I use. Now for PvP, the big ones, Gladius X. This is the frames that you see to my right where it shows the enemy team as well as their trinkets, their big cooldowns, their DRs, stuff like that. Super huge for arenas. Gladiator, LOSSA. This is a thing that announces all the skills as they're being used. So it would be like Poly, Trinket, Cyclone. Calls it out. It helps you that much more just kind of hearing an audible when the skills are being used. Now, I also use Quartz for my cast bars. I have Weakauras, which I'll get into in a second. And we got big debuffs, which just kind of helps me have that visual cue for when cooldowns are popped. Bartender for my bars, of course. Damage for my details for my damage meter. That is the big ones, I'd say. All right, so for my Weakauras, let's go ahead and turn these on. This one's actually not that important because it doesn't even apply to arenas. So Soul Rend, anytime that I have my Soul Rend up on a target, I have this bar that shows the uptime of Soul Rend. So once this starts dropping down towards the end, it's time to reapply that Soul Rend. Up and in your face, right in the center. That way you know where your damage is coming from. You know when to keep it up. Fodder of the Flame. This lets me know, hey, my demon has just spawned. It's time to find that demon. If I need a heal, it's time to kill that demon. If I want that damage buff, it's time to kill that demon. Now the big three right over here. Demon Soul, Weapon Proc, Momentum. 20% damage, absolute shit ton of mastery, and an extra 8% damage. Whenever I see these three up, it's time to look for a kill. It's time to find someone with no defensive cooldown up, and it's time to pop the hunt. And they're probably going to sleep. If not going to sleep, they are going to be feeling the pressure.
Death. Commanding show. Increasing down.
I will have a link to all of my Weakauras in the description, so if you guys like the way it's set up, if you guys like the idea of it, feel free to take it and use it for yourself, and I hope it helps. So that's basically everything from me. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I'm sorry it took so long. Definitely a lot longer of a video than I was planning on making. But if you guys did find this useful, if you guys enjoy this type of content, feel free to leave a like. Lets me know to make more videos like these for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys have an amazing new year. And that's all for me. Have a good one. Peace out, everybody.